Welcome, everybody, to the Bold Inventor Show. I'm JD Houvener, your host, and with that, Matt Colseth.
Hello, JD.
I'm a patent attorney. He's a trademark attorney, and we're doing it again. We're here to help you, the inventor, entrepreneur, business owner, someone out there with a question. We're broadcasting live across Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, talking about the law, talking about intellectual property, patents, trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets, even. And we have a special guest waiting backstage. We had a brief chat with her. Kristin Larson, as you saw from up top, our title is her invention, which is a lipstick. Lipstick.
It's a good Minnesota, or that's a good Midwestern last name. Larson. We got so many Larsons around here.
Larson. That's great.
We're just talking. She's from South Dakota, but lived in Minnesota for a while, and
yeah. I'm excited to get to know her, of course, and her invention, and she's doing a few other things entrepreneurial on top of that. As a creator and author as well. So anyway, what's going on? What's new with you, Matt? Anything going on? New, different?
No, just busy with the trademark work. So I've been getting caught up from the end of last year. You can believe that, just on backlog of work. So other than that, things are going great, but just busy with work.
Yeah, pretty same. On the patent side, Huda, our managing attorney, let us know. The USPTO is kind of doing some last minute, just sudden changes. For example, you can no longer expedite design patents. They just said, "Oh, we're announcing it, and it's effective tomorrow."
So that's weird.
Yeah,
I've seen so much of that kind of stuff where all of a sudden, the form that you've been using for the last 15 years is gone, and now it's a new form and a different. It's strange how things are changing at the USPTO.
Yeah. And then we were laughing because this is at our team meeting. We're like, they said, we're going to go paperless, right? We're not going to issue hard copy patents anymore, but they keep coming. They keep sending out these hard copy, ribbon copy patents, just because their electronic delivery wasn't working. So
funny. Yeah. Have you in your career, have you ever had to submit a paper patent application?
Never. No, I've not done that.
I've had to submit a couple paper trademark applications because the USPTO website was down, and then it's basically the mailbox rule, right? So race to the post office and get it stamped. So.
Yeah, got it. Well, hopefully you weren't, and none of our listeners were doing that last night on tax day. One of our employees, I won't name, was scrambling, did get it in. Hilarious.
Oh, it happens to me, more times than I like. But.
Right.
It is what it is. It's part of the job. And when you're as busy as our firm is, we have thousands of clients. So, of course, there's going to be stuff that comes up last minute.
Absolutely. We have room for more, though, Matt. Room for more clients. And we'd love to serve more inventors, more entrepreneurs. What I've got is our legal notice here. I throw this up there pretty infrequently. But just to let you all know that, hey, while this is, we're both attorneys, we're not going to be giving legal advice for any specific subject matter. So don't ask anything confidential. But bring up hypotheticals, ask questions about the law you're confused about. This is the place to do it. So we're going to have our guest on. Don't be shy to ask our guest questions. We may go on for a half hour today, 45 minutes, or even an hour if we get lucky. So let's bring on our guest, Matt.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay. Kristin Larson, welcome to the Bold Inventor Show.
Hey, welcome. Hi. It's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be on your show. I listened to some previous podcasts, and they were fantastic. So you guys are doing a great job.
Good. Well,
thanks. That's sweet.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we're just having fun talking trademark.
It is. I think that's a big part of it, Kristin, is that I do get to hang out with my buddy here for an hour, once a week, which is pretty cool. So I enjoy that aspect of it, and it's a nice break from the monotony of filing trademark applications, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Understood.
Well, gosh, Matt, we're halfway to double digits on our live viewers. I said we have 5 out there. Don't be shy to ask questions. Things you've been wondering about. Ask Kristin a question or two. But Kristin, would you please give us a little background? What are you working on? Simple kindness. I know that's not necessarily related. We got this.
Yeah. So that was one of my things I started last year. That is a platform, Simple Kindness for mental health awareness. It's a resource. So I get some blogs on there. I've got all the resources listed, some therapies, just an advocate for mental health. And I call it mental health versus mental illness. So I've got my website. It's simplekindness.co. In addition, last year I was able to publish my first book. It's a novella, Traveling Caravan, Growing Up Under the Big Top. True story about my father growing up in a traveling circus.
Whoa.
And yeah,
My,
yeah.
my father-in-law was a carny too.
Father-in-law?
No,
My
that's my dad.
father-in-law.
Okay.
My dad,
Your
the shit.
dad, my father-in-law. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, and so lots of stories, you guys, from that family. And then it converted into a traveling carnival, of which I grew up on in my teenage years. So my summer months were I traveled all over the Dakotas with this carnival. I wrote a little bit in this book, but my second book, in fact, my publisher just notified me today, is Rosalita Spreads Kindness. That will be published next week on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, etc. Uh,
Wow.
That's
and
too funny, Kristin.
I have,
I wonder if
yeah,
my father-in-law knows your father,
are you kidding?
because he's from Alexandria and he basically was with the Carney in the Dakotas and western Minnesota for years.
Wow,
He was the cotton candy guy.
that is crazy.
There can't be that many like in the Dakotas,
There
right?
isn't. And I had to do that from a historical perspective too,
Sure.
because obviously these things are gone. I had some good stories. I could write a novel on this too, but I'm gearing another direction. I'm gearing with the
Cool.
children's books. I think they're going to have more impact.
Kristin, did
That's
I
awesome.
spell that even remotely close? Rosalita?
Rosalita, yeah, Rosalita spreads
One.
kindness.
Okay.
Yep,
That's
yep,
kind
you
of
got it.
one too many T's, but that's
Too
gonna
many
go.
T's.
That's gonna launch next week. You said.
Next week, yes.
Oh, congrats on
Really
that. That's a
exciting.
big deal. Good,
I
good.
have the illustrator. I'm gonna give a huge shout out for her, Maria Standing Bear, because she brought that book to life, and that's what it required, and she did amazing. So thrilled for her.
Love it.
Very
Love
cool.
it. So, well, you've got that going on and sharing
Yeah,
kind of, you
yeah.
said a novella. Let's talk about this invention. You're a bold
Oh, yeah.
inventor. Okay. So this lipstick, you've
Okay.
got saving lipstick. What does that mean?
Okay. Well, okay. This started January of last year.
Okay.
Um, I've had this idea for about 5 years. Okay. I had it in a folder. I moved home to Sioux Falls to kind of care for dad and mom. I pulled that folder out, and the folder said dreams on it and had a sunshine. My Kool Lips invention is in there. Also, it said to publish a book. Okay. Those two dreams.
Okay. That's what we're
Okay.
talking about today. We're talking about your
The
dream.
dreams. You
Making
have to
dreams happen.
dream. So my whole idea that I had literally designed it, right? I had the dimensions, I had figured it. So what this is a heat resistant lipstick container, because lipsticks when exposed to heat melt. So if you are a female, you leave that out in the sun, you take it to the beach. If you have a nice lipstick, it will be melted. You will not be able to apply it. So, okay. So I go, okay, God, if you want me to do this, let's do it. How am I going to do it? Because I had the idea. I knew nobody else did because I started my research. The next day, I didn't even search this out, you guys. YouTube popped up with somebody that helps with inventions. Okay. And I watched that company, but the reviews. Okay. You always read the reviews. There was a couple that weren't good. And the one review said, don't choose this company like I did. Go to Mars Rising Network. They will help you do
Mars,
your
right?
investment.
Okay.
Mars, yeah, it's Mars Rising Network. Jeffrey Benson is the CEO of this company, and he's been doing it a long time.
And you've used them. That's who you went with.
That's who I went with after the research. After my first call, um, they called me back, right? Okay, so that's great. And I did my research, legitimacy, all of that, the business. And then I had to make the decision, right? Because it's costly. it's costly to go through this because we're going to be doing several different elements of making this product, right? Um, I made the decision. I don't know if I should give a cost figure on this or not. So I probably
Ooh.
won't.
Oh, go ahead, Matt. You're like, don't do it. I'm like, do it. Is that what you
I'm
said?
like, no,
Well,
I love numbers. Let's do it.
yeah. Okay. So that is just to begin 10 grand. 10
Yeah.
grand with Mars Rising Network. But what they're going to do for me.
Time out though. So what
Yep.
is you? Are you going to explain what they're going to do for 10
Yes.
grand? Oh, please.
Yep. For the 10 grand. So they're going to take me from helping me do the 3D for my design, right? They're going to help create that. We are also going to do a video, which they did, right? Showing my product, the usage, right? And then a selling brochure, which I'm going to need, right? Because I need investors on this, or I need to find a company. And they're going to also, the marketing, they gave me a huge list, you guys, of companies to try to figure out who wants this product to manufacture. That's that end. So, and I have to, I'm a perfectionist. So as I worked with all men, and I have my project certificate too. So I had to explain to them, though, we are not, this is a female container. We're not doing Pac-Man. Okay. We are doing these different fabrics I selected. I have 5. Okay. And as we worked through it together, I would actually edit many things. Even in the video, I had a chance to say, hey, in this screen where we're at, let's take this out. Okay. And so I think just probably from that experience of my life of carnival experience really impacted me because you know what? We had to do so much marketing and so much there's just a lot in there. So through that whole process, I would have to say it took a long time because what else is in there? Now that's Mars Rising Network. Okay. They're helping me with that part of it.
And
So
can we
now,
show off some of that on your website? Is that all right if we show that?
yep, you bet.
Okay, so I thought I recognized at least kind of those 5 different designs, and so they let
Yes.
you basically have a lot of say, a lot of input from
Oh,
you
yes.
in terms of what your marketing, what your brand
Mm-hmm.
represents. And so we've got nice simple home screen with there. We've got the case
Mm-hmm.
here in different, specific, very colorful, poppy, smiley face emoji. But I think chic too. I'm not a designer, but it looks fun. It looks good. So a
My
lot of
daughter selected that. Actually, my daughter created my brand too. She did the logo. She's super creative. That's another thing. When you are going to select, there she goes. Yeah, Mariana, my daughter, did that logo. When you
nice.
are going to create your logo, she figured this out with the colors, with the placement, and then, of course, there's the video.
Right. You're not going to be able to hear the video, but I'll be able to watch it. I'll kind of describe it for our podcasters. It's only a couple minutes long. Audio.
Ooh, it's got a mirror. That's cool, Kristin. Smart.
Yes.
So what kind of materials are you using to insulate this?
That is coming up.
Okay. Please don't be lead.
This is a lithium battery on the side with 2 coolant pods on the bottom, right, that feed into that. And then over the top, we're going to want something easy to clean and an insulating material. And here's the 5 varieties.
Here, you were just describing that.
Yes, yes. So that insulating material, it's waterproof, right? Because we have to protect the coolant pods and then the lithium battery on the end.
Yep.
Um, mhm,
Got
Very
it.
cool.
So there is power. It's powered. You've got
mhm,
a circular battery, probably a
mhm,
common type, right? Like a watch
mhm.
battery, and that's going to cool this actively. Is that the
That
idea?
is correct. Now, when I first started out with this, you guys, before I was even set up with Mars, do you know I was doing research on thermodynamics and trying to figure out that coolant that I needed? Like you've
Yeah.
got your water bottles, right? That has that cooling element in there. So I'm doing this research and I'm going, yeah, I have a biology degree, but I
But
was
I was
going nowhere
no.
fast.
Yeah, it's interesting. I forget the name of those cooling pads that you're using, but it's basically like an electrochemical thing, isn't it? Essentially, where it does kind of provide a cooling sensation. I know they use that oftentimes in like seat coolers in automobiles.
Right.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Cool. Okay. Does it work?
Well, here's the deal. That's my invention. I am at this end phase, right, of somebody to agree to manufacture that. Here's the hardest part of any invention, you guys, across the board. I'm
Yeah.
sure you hear this. I got it. I have it. I'm ready to go. I am looking for a cosmetic company to secure a licensing agreement with me to manufacture that, right?
Yeah.
And you guys know about the licensing agreements, of course. I am now with another company to help me more investing their money, you guys, because I believe in this. If you believe in something, don't let anybody dash your dreams. This is because I've had even family members say, "What are you doing? Let it go. You've wasted this money." I said, "Oh no, no." So now I am with, Own My Idea. So I've signed an agreement with them, right? So that if they find a company, right, they will take a portion of that, right? When we negotiate. And they went to the trade show in New York. Okay, that was in March. That was big. Presented there, and there is one company that is very interested in my product, reviewing it right now. So another trade show coming up at the end of April, for Kool Lips to go there. Um, I guess these I mean these trade shows are big. When these people
JD
get
Yeah.
together.
JD loves a good trade show.
I do. I do. It's been too long, and so I want to know which one you were at. Did you
Yeah,
go, or were you kind of hearing a lot of
I
this secondhand?
I did not go. I actually I also work too. I have a full-time job. I'm full-time assistant manager at Maurice's clothing outlet retailer.
Very nice.
So people wonder also how I get so much done and how do I do it? Um Highly motivated and a lot of grit because don't I mean I'm going to tell you even in this roadblocks. And I didn't stop for anything because for anybody listening, right? Um, don't don't let one thing stop you, right? It's not gonna work. You just have to keep going. I'm sure you hear that from other inventors.
Absolutely. From time to time. Yeah, it's where you have to have that dogged persistence,
Never
and
give
Mhm,
up.
it's going to happen
mhm,
no matter what.
Fight's not over till you win.
mhm,
Okay. So you've got your trust in this third party, Own My Idea, and they're out
mhm,
there pitching for you. Can we
mhm.
talk some details, not necessarily about who is interested, but how they went about the trade show? Were they holding a booth for you? What was
Um,
it you think that was effective coming out of a trade?
Yeah, they have a booth, right? And so for my product, since it's not been created yet, right? But we have everything laid out, right, of how it works, and we got when I went for my patent, I have everything in there, right, of how this goes. So booth, they've got my video there, right? They did switch up my selling brochure, that company. They made it a little more crisp, right? Because and I did switch out the picture of the female that they had. I wanted it to be more universal so that people could connect. So I had say on that as well.
You're saying different than the one on the website, or the one on the website is the one you recommended?
It's different with Own My Ideas. They've got their own that they take with them and how they're promoting that. Now the
And they've got several products, several.
yes, yes, sir,
inventions.
yes.
Yeah.
His name is John Gonzalez, who is the CEO of that company, Own My Ideas.
Cool.
I feel pretty confident with John because he's the type of guy where you can call if you need to, and he'll call you back, or he'll text you back.
How
I'm
about that?
telling you, when you get in this different different realm, it's like, okay, I'm so used to the Midwest, right? We still can call, or we can pick it up, but you get maybe to the East Coast, little more difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's super helpful. So that's how they're doing it right now.
Let's talk patents. I mean, we're on the Bold Inventor show, for goodness sakes. I've got both
Yes.
patents. So you said you've got a patent now. Is it granted or still pending?
It's a provisional, so that's a 1 year.
All right.
So huge decision coming up here, you guys. We know what that is. Because if I don't get some type of licensing agreement, I have to make that decision. And of course, I know what my decision will be. I will apply.
You're going all in.
Yeah, it's going all in.
I
Okay.
mean,
Things to point out, real, just for those that may not know. I know we hit this a lot, but
Okay.
because you've shared this invention, obviously with the public, you've disclosed it, and so because of that, you filed the provisional, and you have just 1 calendar year to
Yep.
file non-provisional. If you don't, you might lose the ability, or might be invalidated later because of those public disclosures. So you're all in. You've got
I'm all
to
in.
file. Good. Well, and how much time do you have? If you don't mind sharing.
You know what? I have to notify that attorney, like, Easter. I was gonna pray. So I've got till May 27th. So, and I know that she needs that ample time. That's another thing people really need to consider, and you two both understand this as attorneys and what you're doing. I'm not going to say, okay, Lori, I need this on May 20th. Heck no, I know it's going to take her so much time to do all of those documents and what she needs.
that's
So,
really considerate of you.
yeah, well,
Okay,
Yeah.
so it is. Sometimes clients will give us 3 weeks and expect us to just pull a rabbit out of a hat. I mean, we ask for 3 months, generally before the due date. So help your attorney out. When one attorney to another, please.
Yeah,
give them
I have made the decision because I put all this work and effort into it, and money up front on that, and I'm already so far. You just, yeah, you don't go all this way and then say no. I'm in.
Well, I'll tell you,
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say, Kristin, what you saved some money on the trademark because you did it yourself.
I did. I'm proud of that.
You did a very good job.
Thank you.
Hey, that's a lot. That means a lot right there, Kristin. That's
Yeah. I looked at it and I was like, this application was filed correctly.
Yes, it was filed correctly. I'm just waiting, in fact, for the notice of allowance, which I guess takes, about 4 months from I don't know how slow it is now. Do we even have a department still? I was just wondering.
Who knows?
They're all laid off now.
USPTO right now.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, congratulations, by the way. So, for
Thank
those
you.
listening at home, Kristin was able to file her own trademark application for Kool Lips. It's a design mark, so it protects the logo and the slogan, which is pretty cool. And you did something that was smart. You made your application goods and services description pretty broad. So, a lot of folks, including most attorneys, I would think, would look at what you're doing and think, oh, this is a lipstick, container to keep lipstick from melting, right? So that's how they're going to file the application, like lipstick container, something like that. You did something different, though. You made it much more broad. So it's not only a lipstick, cooling container, but it's for all types of cosmetics.
Right. I guess you know what I did some research, you guys. People can do this.
Mhm.
When I was in graduate school, that was the name of the game, right?
Research.
Research.
Yep.
So also being a scientist, so dive deep. You can find the information. You can do this. That's what I could say on that one.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. So, you've gone through the application process, thus
Hmm.
far pretty cleanly.
Hmm.
Looks like there was a minor office action, examiner's amendment to kind of clean some stuff up a little bit. That's not uncommon for even for attorneys who file trademarks.
Let's,
Um,
yeah, Matt,
it's under,
let's do a little segue on that
yeah.
because I had so many people that were scamming me
Oh
to
yes.
be like an attorney or to help me. And then when I actually got, it was, I think his name was Trevor Yulseth. He actually was an attorney with the USPTO office. Okay. And he's reaching out to me and I'm just deleting.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and then finally one of his emails caught my eye, and then I'm like, I'm gonna call this guy, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And he answered it legit. And I'm like, okay, I need verification that you are an attorney with the United States. I said this,
Yeah.
and he
Like a,
says,
a
well,
real attorney, not like a.
yeah, what do you need from me, Kristen? I said, I don't know. Well, look at your email up there. And it was legit. He had to do that like the beginning of March, some little tweak. So, but he actually is an attorney that works there.
There
Cool.
you go.
Got it. So, there's no attorney of record associated with the application. So, did you call the examining attorney? Is that what happened?
No, I did not. That went through the system. It took a long time because they approved that right away. I mean,
Mhm.
through once it went through, I did not call anybody. Upon review of how I did it, being
Hmm.
very specific, on color, on letter placement,
Sure.
all of those things that you have to do for that. Yeah, it didn't get rejected. That's why I cried on that day. I did because I was like, wow, yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah. Good.
awesome. So does that
Yeah.
mean it's already been through the opposition period, Matt?
Yeah. So the trademark has been published. So that's the third party notification period where folks can object. It looks like hers is already. Let's see. Can I look and see when it's been published here? Let's take a look. Publication confirmation published on March 25th. So,
Yep. Hmm. That's correct.
published for the next 40 days. So a couple more weeks. And then after that, assuming nobody objects, they'll get the notice of allowance, typically within a month. And then at that point, you have 6 months to go to market. The one thing that was interesting about your trademark application, Kristen, is that
Hmm.
we'll have to wait and see what the USPTO does when they get your statement of use, your proof of use, because they might
Ah.
see that lipstick and think, is this descriptive now? Because the
Oh,
way
I
you filed the
see.
application was very clever to avoid
Yeah.
any descriptiveness issues, which I
Right.
love. I love that you did it that way. But the
Yeah.
proof will be in the pudding when you submit the statement of use to the USPTO and see what they say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So call me if you get another office action. I'd love to take a crack at it.
Hey, Chris, and one of our viewers out there, Philip Swain. Good to see you, Philip. He's saying on the patent side, I'm pretty sure he's asking about here at that 1 year mark when you file the U.S. non-provisional. That is your chance to file internationally too.
Cool.
He's giving you a suggestion rather to file in Canada, prevent cross-border knockoffs, and even Mexico too. So that's good advice. I think maybe some question to have for your attorney to make sure that those foreign apps are able to benefit from that provisional early filing date. While we're talking about Philip, he also shared earlier that he's on his fourth dream. He's had 3 failed biotech company startups. Fingers crossed he's working on 4. So he's not giving up either on what he's
Don't
up to.
don't do that, Philip. I worked for a large biotech company, and that was Danaher. I worked at Aldevron in Fargo, North Dakota. So yeah, that is dream, dream, dream. But you will do it.
In case Philip or anybody else would like to get a hold of you, Kristen, are you willing to give away your
Yeah.
email address for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, I've got like 3, but you know what? Right now, Life
Let me
is
know
so
which
cake.
one you want people to reach out to.
You know what? Let's do. You guys are gonna laugh at this one, okay? Let's do this one because I actually look at it every day. It's KLLARSON1 at Hotmail.
Hotmail. There
Yeah.
it is. Love it.
Hey, see,
I
I
mean,
got
yeah,
So KL Larson
one. Yep.
1 at Hotmail right there.
Yeah,
There it is. Philip, give her a chat. She's got some experience here in biotech.
I
Maybe she's
do.
got some
I got a
connection.
lot of I got a lot of contacts actually in that one. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So that's what's next. Is you're looking at that potential deal, and you can't announce it.
Nope.
Confidential interest. What do you know about this interest? What did they tell you? What made them interested? Can you give us some little more meat there, or are we stepping in?
Well, for this to be beneficial, right? This lipstick container, right? You have to have more high-end lipsticks to begin with, right? You can't have, a $10 or $12 lipstick. You're going to have to be. I worked for Estee Lauder, okay,
Got it.
and we're talking $30 for a lipstick, okay, and some are even higher. So
Some
you've got
people,
an
most people don't have those
I'm
levels.
nodding like I know the cost of lipstick. I have no clue, but keep going.
I have no idea either. But is it fair to say that the 20% of lipstick wearers are the ones that have the problem with this, and 80% don't even know because it's not melting because it's not high quality? Is that right?
Well, what happens is they're all going to melt in heat, no matter. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Jonathan. They're all going to melt regardless of how they've been made when exposed to heat. So this particular company that is looking at my product does have higher end lipsticks, right, for profit. So it only makes sense. Those there's many companies out there, goodness sakes, that are in that bracket.
Yep.
Okay.
So I guess I just wait on that. But I think, over Easter, I go to mass. I am definitely going to say, God, if you think I should go and do the next step on the patent that I need to protect. Because if I let that go, the end of May, I have pretty much lost everything I've done.
Hey, Kristin, I'm going to jump in here, and the more I think about this product, the more like I can see like how it is niche, right? It's niche.
Oh, yes.
Not like JD said, not everyone's going to need this, but
Mhm.
I go and start thinking about some of my favorite clients who are like estheticians and the people
Yeah.
who do hair and makeup for like weddings and celebrities and Hollywood, that kind of stuff. Well, a lot of times those kind of events, those are outside, right? And
Mhm.
this would be a really cool product for those folks to have, especially if it was a little bit larger, even.
Like that
So
idea.
I
Now,
like
yeah,
it too.
yeah. My dream was not to do a licensing agreement, you guys. My dream was at that phase when I had that marketing list. I
Yeah,
am reaching out to companies to see
it's
if they're
hard when you got a full time job.
well, right. And is anybody really emails?
Yeah,
Delete.
I know. It's who you know, right?
It is. But I do believe in this product.
Now, is there a chance that thing could come full circle? Because I know there's a certain industry that uses a lot of facial makeup.
Hmm.
Having to do with carnivals and clowns. I mean, is that a potential here for
Well,
makeup?
that it's possible. Pretty small niche too, as
Yeah.
well as what exists now. Those things are actually, look at Ringling Brothers. You
Cirque du
know,
Soleil, like
yeah.
there's not like they used to be though, right? I mean, when I was a kid, we would go to the circus and the circus would still come to town, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So great.
Yeah, cool.
I appreciate that idea that you have, Matt. Celebrities, events outside, estheticians, and looking at I studied a little bit on the foreign apps too. For Canada and Mexico makes sense to me. I wouldn't be at the point unless I really got a big deal with a company. I would hopefully assist, wouldn't they, with maybe if we wanted to do global.
Yeah, well, from like a trademark perspective, yeah, certainly I would think that as soon as you find a potential partner to license these these rights to, or if it's exclusive or not exclusive, or how you decide to structure that deal, yeah, they're going to want you to file that trademark application and possibly the patent as well abroad. Working with clients in cosmetics, the last 14 years. I know that they're going to want you to be in South Korea, right? In a lot of the Asian countries, makeup, cosmetology is a big deal over there. So
it is.
Japan,
You are
Korea,
exactly
especially.
correct.
So yeah, I think some international work is in your future at some point, but wait till you get paid first.
Oh yeah, there's steps.
Yeah.
Yes, but don't lose your rights. Work with your patent attorney and ask them about the PCT, the Patent Cooperation Treaty.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful way to put a placeholder while you're sort of waiting for investment or funding or interest from big companies that have deep pockets that can afford international filing. That will be if you don't file that PCT or any foreign apps and it's been more than a year from your provisional, you won't be able to claim priority back to the early filing date. And you might even lose rights to be able to file overseas at all. So get with your attorney. Yep, Philip agrees. Got a second. You can examiner's report and opinion right away. The international examiner will look at it from the U.S. So it's a big one to hit. So ask your attorney about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Well, we've covered a lot. Let's kind of bring it around. So anyone out there listening that might be wanting to catch something, you've been at this for a while, entrepreneurship for a while. What are some big lessons learned you've had over your career doing this? You would say, I would have done something differently. What are some big lessons learned you could offer?
Oh goodness. I'm super proud of my website if you take a look at it. Because you will go to my homepage and you'll see really it's that I have nothing to say but good, right? Learning about this entire process, I just think that there could be some type of a course, right? That could, I should say I was a learning and development specialist. So I used to create courses and job aids. So when I look at this whole process and project management too, I break things down as to maybe there should be kind of a course on this of how this all goes and how it's involved with timelines. Because once I got into this, right, I was like, what? It takes this long for this? And then I'm like, the unknowns for an inventor would be to develop something like that. Because I got lost a little bit, but I was also doing a few things. I was doing a couple other things.
I don't disagree with you at all, Kristin. I mean, it's, unless you've been through the entrepreneur's journey, you don't know what you don't know. But yeah, I've often thought like how wonderful it would be like if, new clients that came in the door, like they need a LLC, they need some patent, work, potentially trademark work. They need someone who knows CAD, right? Someone who can challenge them on their designs and kind of push them. And man, wouldn't it be great to like have all that like one spot, right? Come in for like a week-long, session essentially, and you leave with CAD drawings, a contract manufacturer for the products, marketing's done, the website's live, all that's done, right?
Yeah.
Be
Awesome.
great. Let's do that, JD. Let's
you guys go. You guys go.
We'll do a entrepreneur boot camp.
Yeah, my God.
It's gonna be really expensive. It's gonna be really expensive, but
yeah, we try to make it as affordable as possible and have it be accessible.
But you've got your idea there, because see, I learned from my daughter. My daughter had a small business too, so she had created her whole small business, right? Website, right? Logo, filing of her EIN. I did that right away, right? For that, I just and things got really complicated being an author, you guys, for taxes. I did. Now, that's just a whole different segue, but to understand the different ramifications of taxes and being an entrepreneur, that's a whole nother segment that should be discussed.
Okay, you're giving me a good topic.
Yeah, we're gonna get a tax gal on.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm of course interested. If you're dealing with the tax problem, that means you have an income stream.
Right.
Yep, I did.
I want to learn about how you made that happen. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I did because I'm a mover and a shaker. Tell you what, that book, my first book was published August 1st of last year. I got into 10 bookstores that I'm currently.
Cool.
And the Dakotas, right?
Yeah.
And then Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and then I got on a global distribution. So I had some global books that were sold. But for any new author, I guess I did well. I anticipate much more with the children's book because it's going to resonate with people because they love children's books. So I already know how to do this. You start with your inventory that you begin with of how many you sold and your inventory at the end. So I had to go around and I wasn't keeping track of this, you guys, because what am I doing? I'm caretaking for parents.
Yeah.
I stress to everybody also with like this endeavor. Okay, I couldn't deduct anything, but for my other stuff, your business receipts, your business trips, your all of that. I am really on top of it this year. That's all I have to say.
Send
Yeah.
some of that my way.
Yeah.
Kristin, thank you.
Yes.
My goodness, for sharing your story, your
Yeah.
history, your books, your author, life lessons. You entertained our audience as well. I can't thank you enough for being on our show.
Thank you for allowing me to be on. Matt over there in Minnesota, and JD, I assume you are maybe Cali?
Nope. Washington, though. I'll take that as a compliment. I like it. Yeah, I'm in the middle of Moses Lake, which is central Washington.
Oh, that's a beautiful area.
It is. It's nice. Very windy today. It's just the
Yeah.
class. Every spring, it just blows through. Blows all the
Thank you.
dust around. But yeah, we'll have you back later on. I want to see how this, or at least hear from you, how this deal went. And
all right.
Yeah, I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks, Kristin.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it, you guys. Take care.
Go big, go bold. Bye, guys.
All right.